All right. So with the joint practice, Saturday's joint practice with the Dallas Cowboys in the books, I just wanted to take a look at some notes here on Turf Show Times on what exactly happened. So here, this article here, this guy went to Oxnard on Saturday to watch the LA Rams hold a joint practice with the Cowboys at their training camp facilities. You'll see more of this on Hard Knocks. Because the Cowboys are being featured on Hard Knocks this year. Um, and the Rams have been in twice in the last 5 years to practice with them. And with so much attention already being paid to Matthew Stafford in the LA scoring attack this summer, which I am excited, but they do need to prove to me that they can do it consistently. I will say that. So I am looking forward to see how they do. But this writer here, Mr. Kenneth Arthur, decided to watch the defense face off against the Dallas offense for the most part, and that did not include Dak Prescott, as the team is taking every precaution necessary in his return with his discomfort in his right shoulder. So yeah, Dak seems to be dealing with a little bit of an injury issue there. But they still saw CeeDee Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott, Michael Gallup, Tony Pollard up against Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and Leonard Floyd. And the Dallas offense is kind of loaded, and they do have a lot of good players on their offense. I've always felt, in my personal opinion, that from the outside looking in, that coaching seemed to be what has been holding back Dallas. But they certainly got the talent. I mean, these guys are awesome. But let's keep going. It's difficult to know how much effort on each side of the trenches was giving, and it surely was not 100%, but Aaron Donald won a couple of his battles, and guard Connor Williams won a few as well, and he drew more than one round of applause. You know, it's a Dallas fan base in attendance. You know, it's their training camp area. But each side was holding back. It wouldn't be fair to compare what I saw today to a preseason game. This is not an exhibition game. It was a joint practice. And that's true. It's a little hard to tell. You know, they're in there practicing. It's hot. So it's hard to really get a gauge on who is really beating out the other in terms of who may be the superior. I don't want to. It's just hard to tell. You know, with one-on-one drills, you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. You know, it's just one of those things. It's why I kind of wish Sean McVay would play some of his starters in the preseason. I'm a little more hesitant this year due to the injuries we've been having, but I still am kind of in that camp where I feel the starters do need to play a little bit to kind of get, you know, knock the rust off. You don't really want to knock the rust off in week one, but you know, Sean doesn't like to play his players, so we're not going to see him in the preseason. That being said, Donald and Williams fought only 2 plays into scrimmage, drawing in players from both sidelines to help. Let's see, yeah, they had a big fight in 2015. It cooled off quickly. A bunch of the guys came in and broke it up pretty much immediately, and McVay pretty much cooled Donald off, saying that could avoid another training camp fight like that one. But they got into another fight again, and it was a minor fight. You know, these things are going to happen. I said this in another video I made. You know, I don't have a problem with brawls. I really don't. As long as no one gets hurt, gets seriously injured, and it doesn't like take away from any good reps and practice that they can get during that joint. You know, Lord have mercy. If it doesn't take away from the reps they get in that practice, you know, a small little skirmish like that doesn't bother me. It's football. It's a physical sport, so it doesn't really bother me as long as no one gets hurt and they still are able to accomplish what they want to accomplish for that day. Moving on. He says that Connor Williams had a good day. Yeah, it seems like it, and Dallas seems to be rather effective against the Rams defense. This doesn't tell me that LA's defense should be worried. I think it just means that this was a joint practice, but there was one area, the Rams defense, that seemed to be a key focal point of attack for the backup quarterbacks of Dallas, Ben DiNucci, sorry if I get that wrong, and Garrett Gilbert. Yes. David Long Jr. had one of the best defensive plays of the day, maybe the best, on a pass breakup throw intended for Cedric Wilson. However, Long was on the wrong end of almost every big completion by either DiNucci or Gilbert. Time after time, it seemed like a Cowboys player was making a catch, and Long was the closest defender in the area. This is Long's third year in the NFL, and the former third-round pick has a golden opportunity to finally start and log big minutes with Troy Hill. With Troy Hill, the player who was wearing number 22 prior to him taking it this season, now in Cleveland. But if Saturday was any indication, teams will be directing their attention to anyone other than Ramsey. If Darius Williams and Long are expected to man the outside with Ramsey in the star or slot role, then it's imperative that they're both capable of covering elite receivers, because most teams are now bringing at least two talented pass catchers every week. Even without Amari Cooper, the Cowboys have two very good receivers, with Michael Gallup especially looking like a breakout player next season. It seems like Gallup was making a grab over Long on almost every play on Saturday. All right, so Dallas does have good receivers. They are talented. They do have good offensive players, man. They do, and it sounds like David Long Jr. was getting picked on a little bit. Which is expected, as the article says. That was the position manned by Troy Hill, but he is now gone. So naturally, teams are like, well, let's go ahead and attack that opening. Troy Hill's no longer there, so let's go ahead and attack the unknown guy who has not started, which makes sense. And he seemed to be struggling a little bit. Okay, something interesting to watch, So we shall see how this unfolds. Not sure if it's really commentary on the Rams' run defense or not, but I thought that Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard were both really effective on the ground. See, this right here, I have been saying this since my first video. The defense needs to be able to stop the run. We need to be physical. We need to run the ball, and we need to stop the run. Those are so important. We need to win the battle on the line of scrimmage. I cannot stress that enough, especially with our own division, playing the physical football teams like the likes of San Francisco, Seattle, and Arizona. And I know it's just a joint practice, but the Rams just, even when they were number one last year, man, they seemed to struggle against stopping the run against run heavy teams that were stronger that were stronger with the run. So we need to work on this. We really need to work on this. I don't want to see us getting gashed by San Francisco or any of these other teams. As that'll get me hot in a quick minute, man. Let me tell you, I hate seeing us getting manhandled out there. But moving on. Troy Reeder had a beautiful tackle for a loss on one running play, however. I'm not sure who is in the lead at linebacker, but I noticed Reeder a few times on Saturday, and I didn't notice many other linebackers. Okay. Interesting. Taylor Rapp was definitely playing some linebacker. Taylor Rapp, yeah, I've heard he's better kind of along the scrimmage as opposed to covering in the back. So I'm curious to see how he does. I want him to do well. Let's see, he thinks Kareem Orr should consider not pulling up his jersey so that people can see his number and know who to appreciate. Okay. He made a few nice plays and is now starting to stand out as a potential member of the 53. Is that right? So Kareem Orr seemed to be playing well. Okay. One of Gallup's best catches of the day came over Darius Williams. Lamb also made a good catch. Williams did not flash much. Okay. Ramsey made a big pass breakup on Wilson. Was present in the run defense. Ramsey is physical. I do like that. But not thrown at very often. Okay, that's to be expected. That will be a common theme. One must wonder what kind of presence Robert Rochelle will have this season, but as we all know, he is recovering from an injury still. So he's the most positive attention. The cornerback who got the most positive attention today was Dante Dion, the fourth-year corner out of Boise State. He was a Hard Knocks star back when the Rams were on Hard Knocks, and doesn't have the same size of Long, and that is apparent on every play, but he was around the ball and wasn't getting into bad situations. Can he be a starter? That's really the only question worth asking, because the Rams really need a starting cornerback right now. Questions around Long won't go away until we see some preseason games, as this was only a practice. Yeah, it seems like there seems to be an opening for Dante Dion if Long can't kind of tighten up his play. But we can only really find that out when the games start in the preseason. Says here he likes what he saw from Greg Gaines and thinks he's in line for a big season. That's good. Good. I want to see our D linemen play well. With two roadblocks gone via free agency, Sebastian and Joseph Day also looked explosive. That's good. And I noticed a nice pass rush from Okoronkwo. Sorry if I got that wrong. During one punt, Jacob Harris straight down the field like a lightning bolt. I expect big things out of him. Harris could be a deadly special teamer asset for Johnny Hecker. Someone yelled at CeeDee Lamb to wash his hands, as he said they were washed, and I don't know what that was in reference to. Okay. One of the most professional plays of the day came when Kenny Young tackled Pollard near the sidelines and the two tussled for a few seconds out of bounds. It looked as though Pollard wanted to turn into a full-fledged fist fight, but Young immediately ran back to his huddle and waited for Pollard's teammates to hold him back. Yeah, so I heard and I don't know if this is true, but I heard that Kenny Young actually hit him late. And if that is true, and then if it's true that you decided to hit him late and then kind of run back to the huddle, if that is true, that's kind of weak sauce right there, Kenny. So shouldn't be hitting dudes out of bounds, and definitely shouldn't be sticking and running. Honestly, I actually don't blame Tony Pollard for wanting to fight him if this is true. That being said, I think Pollard is a future starting running back, and the Rams could really use a player like him this season. Yeah, Pollard's good. I've seen some runs from him. He is definitely a good running back. They got a good 1-2 punch with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard for sure. I did happen to notice on the other side, Deshaun Jackson was catching some deep passes from Stafford. He seems to be becoming a quick favorite of Matthew Stafford, it would seem, which is good. I want to see the deep ball. I want to see us go deep. That is something we have been lacking the past couple years, and I very much want to see us go deep. And if Deshaun is the one who's going to be willing to do that, then I say, now go for it. Here's a little quote. One of the things I really appreciate about Deshaun is his willingness to share the experiences that he's had, things he's seen, Cooper Kupp said. He's one of the greatest deep ball catchers, and his stats speak for themselves, what he's done in terms of running the deep ball. One of the final plays was a tackle for loss by Donald. Okay. LA is in good hands with their defense. Okay, that's good. I like to hear that. In good hands, but also some things to work on. Probably the most important right now being what to do at cornerback. However, the linebackers also still have a training camp battle of sort out too. All right. Overall, it sounded like a decent practice. You know, it does sound like the defense had their hands full with the Dallas offense. I am not surprised with that, though. Dallas does have some good playmakers on offense. And this is what this is for, kind of get some bumps and bruises, find out, make some mistakes so they can correct the mistakes before the season starts. So, overall, seemed to be a pretty decent joint practice, and we'll see what happens.